In summary, an increase in overall GDP coming from agricultural labor productivity is on average 2.5 times more effective in raising the incomes of the lowest income quintile in developing country than an equivalent increase in GDP coming from non-agricultural labor productivity. So if you want to do something about poverty, it's worthwhile to invest in increasing agricultural labor productivity. Now, what's the situation in agriculture? We have, very broadly speaking, two general pathways that are problematic and both are problematic for ecosystem services. We have intensive agriculture characterized by high levels of pollution, e.g. from fertilizers or pesticides, soil erosion and deterioration, especially soil carbon being reduced, and biodiversity suffers at all levels, ecosystems, species, and genetic, with ever more increasing specialized farm production. On the other hand, we have extensive agriculture, usually in the not so favorable conditions, which leads to an ongoing process of deforestation. Usually we have problems of soil mining, nutrient depletion, especially when on slopes, also problems of erosion. So both developments of agriculture are problematic to ecosystem services, but there's quite a bit we can do about this. The central challenge being increase in yields while not decreasing, or even better, while increasing the other ecosystem services involved. Some widespread, very general discourses on the relationship between conservation and poverty, that poverty leads to the destruction of biodiversity precisely because people depend on these resources and have no other opportunity. They overuse and destroy them. On the other hand, there's the contradicting discourse that traditional societies, and these often imply poorer people, actually ensure the conservation of biodiversity because they have been managing the resource over time in a sustainable way. They have a lot of local knowledge and are well able of doing so, much better than people coming in from the outside. There's also the storyline that biodiversity conservation can lead out of poverty by preserving the resources that poor people depend on. Others say they are interlinked and determine each other, so depending on just how poor people are or how much is still there, they are able to maintain it or it does degrade. Others say they may coincide in time and space, but actually have nothing to do with each other. And the final conclusion that the potential of a better understanding of the underlying causes of both, often of both poverty and biodiversity conservation, thus the potential of a much greener economy, a less consumption-oriented growth, would allow or might take us much further than trying to understand the intricacies between these two aspects.